My dream has come true. I've sold a company for multi-seven figures. It's done. Selling your knowledge is one of the fastest, easiest, most fulfilling and most profitable things that you can do. They can make money if they want to. They can build their dream life if they bloody want to. You've got to just do the work, man.
Where were you financially?
I probably had 4 or 5 grand to my name. If they can get it, surely I can figure out how they've got that and get it myself.
You've never been that guy to waste money?
I was always quite scared of money because all the money pretty much that I've ever made, I've always just bought real estate with cash. We were spending $250,000 a month on ads. Pricing is so important because if you undercharge, you attract lower quality people. It's nice to actually waste money sometimes just because it makes you feel abundant. I paid for a dinner a few weeks ago, it's £2,700. And I was like, I can do that.
So in the space of 6 years, you've done all of this?
Yeah.
And you've built this amount of wealth?
Yeah.
How easy was it?
This whole thing was just me playing and having fun.
You sold your company for how much? Are you allowed to say, or?
$1 million.
William Brown, I appreciate you being here on the podcast, my brother.
Pleasure to be here, man. I was getting distracted by the mic then.
Fair enough. I'm going to start off the podcast like this. Obviously, you've just released a book, How to 10 Mil.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I'm that much through the book. And admittedly, this is one of the first books I've read since year 10. I know it sounds crazy for people to say that. I do more reading than Floyd Mayweather, so that's the point. And also, this book has got me addicted to wanting to read more. I'm a student of knowledge via podcasts and via audio books, but actually sitting down and reading this, credit to you because you've got me through, I think 4 chapters by now in the space of 2 days, which is insane. But here's how I'm going to start the podcast, because on the first page of this book, you've got acknowledgements, and it says, to my parents who raised me with the belief that I could do anything I put my mind to and worked hard for. There's no, this is like, when you read in school on the spot. There's no way I'd be where I am today without the belief you installed in me. Thank you for always supporting me, no matter the venture I pursued. To my clients, both new and old, who put the trust in me to help them build and grow their businesses. Without you, I'd be without a mission and a calling in life. I'm constantly excited and thankful to help you reach the heights that you deserve to reach. Now, I think that's quite a powerful message to start off this book with. Why is it you chose to start off with that message right there?
What a question to put me on the spot to kick right this thing off. Well, I think, I was saying this to a buddy yesterday, I don't know where I got this sense of belief from. I can only imagine that it came from my parents. But for some strange reason, I've always believed that if one human in the world can do something, why can't I do it? If a human that is just born, and some people are advantaged by the country they grew up in and maybe the parents that they have and vice versa, but nonetheless, I've just always believed that if I want to do something, surely I can find a way to do it, you know? And I've got to thank my parents for that, and I wanted to put that in there because I wish that more people had it, and I wish I could give it to other people. You know, and this is part of the reason why, to come on to the second paragraph about the clients that I work with and them putting their trust in me. I try so hard right now to help people understand that they can make money if they want to. They can build their dream life if they bloody want to. It takes time, yeah. Takes some effort, takes some learning. You've got to read the book. You've got to do the work. You've got to build and whatever. But it can be done. And I want to share that belief that I've got with other people.
Yeah, as I said to you, this is probably one of the podcasts where I've been the most excited for, especially after reading this book. Now, the book title itself, How to 10 Mil, someone may look at that and want, that in itself is an accolade to what you've done, right? So just to dive into a bit of depth about who you are, introducing yourself, how would you say, who is William Brown?
For sure. So I would say that I've really been an entrepreneur for my whole life. I didn't really know it when I was younger. But the thing is, like, to give you an example, so one of the first things that I loved doing when I was younger was skateboarding, right? As many young kids do. But instead of just skateboarding like everybody else, I took it upon myself to like get a camera, film, edit, make skateboard videos and sell them for like £1 for a bootleg DVD that I'd made myself. Yeah. And again, I didn't realize it at the time, but what I was doing was being an entrepreneur, making a product and selling a product, right? Then I got into graffiti, which was my next kind of massive passion. And again, instead of just painting, writing, like many of my friends did, I made a graffiti magazine. And I went around the UK interviewing writers and taking pictures and got Photoshop and learned to edit and make this thing and then put some money aside to print a few copies. And I would go to art stores and basically it's called sale or return. You give them some copies. If they sell them, you get money. If they don't, you take them back.
Back, yeah.
And we would sell just a few. Dude, I probably sold no more than 100 copies of that thing, maybe slightly more.
In the whole lifespan of you doing that?
Yeah, I only did it for maybe a year, something like that. But it was very, very fun. And again, it was an entrepreneurial venture. I'd made a product and tried to sell the product. But I don't know why I did this stuff. It's just in me to make stuff and get it out there.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying to you downstairs, you seem like you've always been a very creative person in terms of making something, or firstly, visioning something, making it, producing it, and then being able to sell it. Yeah. It's got you to where you are right now.
Yeah, it's been one step at a time. Skateboarding, I probably honestly made £20, if that. The graffiti magazine, I might have made £400, £500, £600, if that. The third thing, as you'll have read in the book, so my first kind of proper career was as a DJ and record producer from the age of about 19 to 26. And that was eventually it was a full-time thing. So I DJ'd all over the world. I've DJ'd in over 45 countries, played on Boiler Room, got signed to a really great record label. And it was an amazing career, but the money was not very good. I was making like 2-3K a month, sometimes zero, sometimes £700 in a month, sometimes 10 grand in a month. Right, so very up and down.
Varies a lot. I'm assuming that's all to do with seasonal work and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of my career, I was getting paid about £700 per show. But if I DJ'd in Sweden, I'd have to fly to Sweden, DJ for 90 minutes, get that £700 and go home, and then go to Belgium, DJ for maybe £600, come home. Then I'd go to America and Canada and do a 10-show tour for 2 or 3 weeks and bring back 4 or 5 or 6,000, right? But it was very travel intensive, very lonely on the road. When you're on your own, you don't really know anybody. You go into an airport more or less every day, a hotel more or less every day. The money, when I got to 26, 27, my friends started buying houses, getting married. I remember this one day, I saw one of my childhood friends, one of my high school friends, driving like a brand new Audi A5 or something. I was like, how did you get that?
And just to compare it at that time when you saw this A5, where were you financially? Could you afford that same A5?
I reckon I was about 23 years old, and I was DJing, living with my parents, still in the town that I'm from, Clitheroe, in the north of England. I probably had 4 or 5 grand to my name, 6 grand to my name. I was making 1 or 2 a month-ish. So there is no way on planet Earth I could even... Dude, I had a car, but it was like a third-hand Renault from the little mini car lot thing, not even a real garage.
The dodgy ones.
The dodgy ones. Yeah, and I had like 3 of those. I crashed my first one on my 5th day of having it. That's a whole another story. But to answer your question, when I saw that guy driving that car, it started to get into my head like, I want a nice car. I want a nice house. I want freedom. I want money. That kind of thing. And it just started to creep into my head. And it got heavier and heavier as the years went on. I mean, my mate's getting married. I'm not married, My mate's driving a brand new Audi. I can't get an Audi. My mate bought a nice house. It's like a relatively nice house. Probably cost him 200 grand or whatever. For like a nice new house. I thought, I can't get a house. And it just started to weigh on my mind more and more. And then when I was about 25, 26, I started to really try and get money from music. I would try and sell merchandise. I'd try and sell my own records. I'd try and make music so I could get signed to a label where I'd get bigger shows, more higher paid shows. And it just wasn't going well. It just wasn't working. And thank God, I came home from a tour one day, got back to my parents' house. I was having dinner. And there was a trading documentary on TV, super glamorized, very just...
What's that, forex trading?
Yeah, trading currencies.
Okay, yeah.
And some of the guys on there, some were young, some were old, and it showed them driving, these crazy cars and live these big houses and making all this money.
Lifestyle, everything.
It was such bullshit.
Yeah.
One of those bullshit documentaries that just glamorizes it with no, factual stuff to rest on.
But did you think it was bullshit then as well?
But I didn't know. Okay. I thought, wow. I remember there was this guy, this youngish guy, maybe 24, 25, who was apparently making like 1,000 a day from home. And I was like, wow, that would change my life. If I could do music and trade on the side, that would change my life.
Because then you could do music for fun and then fund yourself through forex. And this is what you said in the book as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So my whole plan was if I can just pay my bills with trading I can do music for fun without just trying to make money from music and actually enjoy the thing. And then you can probably guess what happened, right? I went straight on Googled, trading, opened a broker. The first one I stumbled on, which was IG back then, put £500 in an account, and through pure beginner's luck, I took that up to £8,000, £9,000, £10,000 across about 4 or 5 months. Thought, I am going to be rich. I'm going to be a millionaire. This trading stuff is so easy. Yeah. I am the best. And then blew about 70% of it in a single day. You've read the rest in the book. Then took some money out, did the smart thing, and actually invested in some proper education with some talented real traders. And eventually was able to become profitable on a small level. And I was still doing music. I was doing the trading as well. And one day I had a very small Twitter with like 200-300 followers. And one day, maybe about a year and a half into trading, someone messaged me on Twitter and they said, Will, your cousin told me that you're doing really well with trading. I want to learn it. Can you help me?
Yep.
And he offered to pay me, I think it was £50 to come to my house for 2 hours. And he sat next to me, one trading session, took some notes away with him, a 2-page Word document. And then it just occurred to me, maybe other people that follow me on Twitter would buy this Word document. So I messaged a few of the people I was chatting to. A few people bought it, and I was like, "Wow, this is free money."
And it was £50 a pop. £50 what was it? Just the A4 document, right?
Just like a 2-3 page Word document.
So £50 each for that.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Is that just to stop you there quickly? Sorry, is that the first time you had experienced the industry of education?
Yeah, absolutely. There was one. So one of the first trading programs that I bought myself, in fact, maybe the one, it was £300, and I got put in like a Facebook group with the rest of the customers.
Yep.
Right. And I remember thinking there was like maybe 130, 40 people in that Facebook group. And I just thought, hold on a minute. I've paid 300. It seems like these are the 130, 140 people have paid 300. That's like 50 grand, 60 grand, 70 grand. I was like, wow. This guy's made all that money from just selling this course.
Yeah, insane.
Like, that is incredible. I didn't really think I should do this or I can do this or anything like that.
You just done the numbers and thought, wow.
Yeah, and I just thought maybe I could do that one day. And anyway, this guy came to me, and then I sold the Word document to a few other people, made £200, £250. And then the education business that I sold last year started from there 6 years ago, and the rest is history, So
I'm going to come back to a point which you were talking about briefly just now, about you had seen this old school friend who pulled up in a new Audi A5, and you're comparing your life amongst his. Now, we live in a day and age right now where people say we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to anyone else. We should be doing our own thing, which I agree with that side of things. But also my question to you is, do you think comparing yourself with people also has its benefits because it kind of gives you that awakening?
It definitely does. Yeah, because it shows you what's possible. So when I talk to people, in fact, I got a YouTube comment this morning on one of my videos where I was talking about what I used to charge for my trading program at the end of the company, which was $8,500. And someone said, like, it was a polite comment, but they basically said, Will, thanks for the video, but I just don't understand why someone would give you $8,500 for a training program. Like, do people really pay it? Is it real? So, I replied and said, yes, it is. And I'm glad that you're finally here and you can learn it and see it now being done. But it just reminded me, some people simply don't know that this stuff is real and it can be done. So to answer your question, man, when you see someone in a Lamborghini, or when you see someone living on the Palm, or buying a Patek Philippe or whatever, I think you can take it in two ways. You can either take it in a hateful way because you don't have it, or you can take it in an inspiring way where you're like, well, if, like, similar to me, like I was saying earlier, if they can get it, surely I can figure out how they've got that and get it myself.
Yeah. So, at what point did you get that then?
Get what?
Let's just say the A5, or on that level, on par with your old school friend. Because you must have had a reflection point at some point where you thought, okay, cool, I've made some money now. I remember seeing so-and-so with that lifestyle, and now here we are today as well.
That's a good question, man. That's a really good question. Well, I think
So today's sponsor is here to help you revolutionize your trading game. Alpha Capital Group are a UK-based prop firm, a team of elite financial professionals empowering traders with the tools and resources needed to achieve vast amounts of success. They offer 0% commission, no time limits, one-to-one mentoring sessions to develop and enhance your skills, and so much more. Guys, I know you're looking to level up your trading game, so sign up to Alpha Capital Group using the link in the description or the code on the screen right now for a discount.
What was like the first substantial thing that I bought? Well, let me tell you this. So for some reason, I've always been, maybe not so much now, but certainly for the first 2 or 3 or 4 years of the business growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger to the stage where you're making millions a year, I was always quite scared of money still. And I thought, I better hold on to this, in case this ends tomorrow, or I better invest this and keep it. And I think that healthy fear actually did me a lot of favors, because all the money pretty much that I've ever made, I've always just bought real estate with cash with it. And I think one of the first substantial things I ever bought that was pretty big was a 2-bedroom apartment in Manchester back in maybe 2021, 2020.
Oh, so that's fairly recent then.
Yeah, well, the education business started in 2018. And we did about 27 grand that first year, from like April to the end of the year. The next year we did about 270k. The following year we did about 1.3 million. And on that third year was where I was starting to really make a substantial amount of money, tax aside. But nonetheless, I remember buying this apartment, I think it was about £210,000 cash in Manchester. Brand new build, sick, beautiful apartment for the property portfolio. And I remember that was like, wow, that's pretty cool to be able to buy this with cash. So.
Do you know what I've noted from your story as well, from reading upon it and also from seeing other podcasts or talking about it amongst friends, is that you've never been that guy to waste money. You've always seemed like you've always had some sort of wealth investment strategy. As you said, the first lot of money you made, you had bought an apartment or you had bought a house. I think even in your book, it mentions that you bought a house somewhere in your area, right? For £51,000. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So carry on.
Yeah. So I was going to say, just on that point there, even then, you've always had investment strategy from day one. Where did that come from?
Yeah, I'm glad that you've said that, because it allows us to backtrack a bit. Now, back when I was just doing music alone, I went to a few property seminars, and I remember thinking, if I live like a pauper, stay at home, do not have a nice car, do not have nice clothes, do not really go out and just work, if I do that, maybe I could save up enough to buy a little house, rent it out, £400 or £500 a month, do the same again. And eventually, this is my original plan, was to just get 2 or 3 houses, get maybe £1.5 grand a month rent, pay my bills with that, do music for fun, right? And then the trading accelerated that. And it kind of spiraled from there, really. But you are right, because I bought my first house, I won't say where, near to Burnley in the north of England, £51,000, with a mortgage back then. And that was just on the cusp of, I've made a little bit of money from trading. Most of it was saved up from music. I think I bought that when I was about 23, 4. And that was my first ever one. So, yeah.
And you're how old now?
33.
And you still own that property?
Oh, yeah.
Which is sick.
Yeah, I've never sold a single property.
But do you know what it reminds me of? There's a saying that goes around, and it's been in my head more than ever now. It's about being rich and not looking rich, which I feel like I'm going to be completely honest. I was probably a victim of that saying maybe last year or 2 years ago. But I also think seeing a lot of people on social media also are victims of that, of wanting to look rich as opposed to being rich.
Dude.
So when we have people like yourself coming and saying this, I love it, because this is actually how you build, as you say on the book, 10 million. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think if I took my watch off and put some trainers on and walked down the street wearing like black jeans and a white t-shirt, I don't think you would ever be aware of the kind of income that I produce and the wealth. But I definitely think trying to look rich is really stupid, and it's really going to slow you down, and it's just a waste of money. I really think it's a waste of money. I'd put a little caveat in there, because I remember when I first ever moved to Dubai, and I won't name names, but some of my good friends were bigger on, like, one of my buddies, every month, I believe, he puts 10% of his cash aside and just wastes it on maybe a watch or a big holiday or a yacht or flight or whatever.
So regardless of how much he earns, it's always 10%.
Yeah, I mean, he earns a lot of money, you know, so that might be...
His 10% might be 100 grand.
Yeah, if I had to guess, 40 grand.
Okay.
50, 60 grand.
Still a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah. So, but if you see this guy, I mean, he has a lot of watches, a few cars, fantastic holidays. And I really respected that. I thought that was actually a great thing to do, because it's not good to hoard money, because it puts you in the scarcity mindset.
And what do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is, like I was saying, for the first 2 or 3 or 4 years of the education company and making a hell of a lot of money, I was very much like, this has a lifespan. I don't know what I'm going to do after this. I may not have any skills or talents to capitalize on after this. I'd better save all this money, invest all this money, buy everything for cash so there's no debt that can fuck me in the future. But it was driven by scarcity. You know, I wasn't thinking, I'll make money for years to come. You know, I can be a big success for a sustained period of time. I can achieve any goal, any dream for the rest of my life, because I think I think a bit of healthy fear is a good thing, because some things don't last forever. You know, things can change. You may not be successful forever. So I think it's nice. I mean, that's the point of wealth, isn't it? You know, to build it so that if anything does change, or if you ever want to stop working or whatever,
you still have money coming in.
You've got that bed.
Yeah. You've got that backup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is great, because even now that you've sold your company, which we'll get onto later on, but for example, I'm sure you have many more properties and many more assets, but you still have them. So passive rent, whatever the case may be, you still have a plethora of wealth there, even though you're not actively working on a business at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is great. But just to bring it back to the start of you starting education. Now at a point where, as you mentioned earlier in the podcast, towards the end of the business, you were charging $8.5 grand, pounds? Dollars per education. What was it that you're selling exactly?
Yeah, so it was a training program.
Oh, so it was still the training. Okay, yeah.
It was, yeah. So that last e-learning company was a trading education company. And we scaled it very, very far. So when I sold that, we were doing about $850,000 a month.
Yep.
We had a team of 16 people. And yeah, it was a big operation, man.
850,000 a month. When you break that down, it's only 100 sales a month, right?
Well, more or less, because we do payment plans, so it wasn't all cash collected.
Yeah.
There was a split between the cash and the rev.
Yeah,
for sure.
But we will talk about this downstairs. It's the fact that you go by, and I think you mentioned it in the book as well, the 1% rule. And when I say 100 people, I say only 100 people, but in perspective of how many people there actually are that you could sell it to, and I'm sure how many ads you would have thrown out there and how many people would have seen it. 100 people to make $850,000 a month on average is incredible, and that's just at 1%.
Dude, we were spending a lot on ads. I mean, we were spending a good around $250,000 a month on ads to make that 850. You know, so it's very paid traffic driven, which is a whole nother conversation. It's a great thing to have paid ads behind you. But yeah, the power of 1%, man. It's I mean, like we were talking about for the podcast, if you've got even 1,000 people, you know, maybe you've got 1,000 followers on Instagram, but they're quality, bought in followers with a lot of trust and respect for you.
Yeah.
If you did maybe a $5,000 mastermind, one person, you know, would probably buy it. So.
Okay, but then, let's talk about this, right? One person will buy it, but at the end of the day, at a mastermind, you want several people.
Yeah, I mean, God, there's so many things you can sell. I mean, you can do an online course, you can do more of a training program, you can do group coaching, one-to-one consulting, which is what I do right now. I've got a training program and I do one-to-one consulting with people. You can do a one-day workshop, which I've just started doing here in Dubai, which is cool.
What do you do in the workshop?
So the workshop is for beginners who usually they have people like yourself. So with an audience or a great idea for an offer, and I do a 1 full day workshop, which is 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I get in a room with everybody and we cover the main pillars of building one of these online education businesses. So creating an offer, pricing it well, knowing what you want to deliver. Are you going to do a mastermind, a workshop, a course, a training program, group coaching, one-to-one, a community? And I just help them dial it in. And they go away from that 1 day workshop able to go and do it and make it happen and start making sales, basically. So.
But it also comes down to their mindset as well, if they actually make it happen. Because someone could easily spend that money and then go away and just relax or be lazy?
I'm glad that you've said that, because I want to add another thing. Now, I charge £2,000 per person, and I do 20 people for that one day workshop.
Yep.
The reason it's £2,000 is because it's just high enough so that people really, really care, but it's low enough so that, you know, any serious person can, you know, that's an adult can afford that.
Yeah, it's high quality people that you get as well.
Yeah, and this is, pricing is so important, because if you undercharge, you attract lower quality people. If you know, price is a reflection of value, but also it carries a perception, right? So if someone's program is $8,500, it's got to be good, man. It's got to, it's you know, that's some substantial stuff.
It's got to be something that you would pay as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So then how do you actually come up with price point?
Well, the real way you do it is to test within the market. You know, I mean, like I was saying to you earlier, start low, and it's probably going to work. Maybe just come up a little bit and just see what people am I attracting. Do they take it seriously?
Yep.
Do they therefore get results or not?
Yep.
And then you can kind of play with it from there and go up if it's appropriate, come back down if it's appropriate.
Yep.
And you experiment and you dial it in. And eventually you find the sweet spot, which was at 8.5 for us. That was our sweet spot.
There's one thing you mentioned in the book, which I want to come to, right? Because this ties into everything we're talking about right now when it comes to, you know, deciding whether you want to do a course, mastermind, etc., all that sort of stuff. And that is what you call your help statement. So when you started in the beginning, what was your help statement?
This episode is sponsored by Fireaway Pizza, the fastest growing pizza company in the UK. With over 100 locations, you definitely have a store near you. The founder of Fireaway was on the show not too long ago, and you can get a slice of the action by using the discount code CEOCAST at fireaway.co.uk. Once again, use the discount code CEOCAST at fireaway.co.uk.
So it was, I help losing traders to become profitable by learning my mechanical rules, right? So I help this kind of person to get outcome through my unique mechanism, right? My statement now with the new consulting company that I've just started would be, I help people with a high value talent, skill or specialist knowledge to productize that, okay? And really turn it into a profitable business from anywhere in the world.
So would you say, regardless of what business anyone's going into, whether it be making a course, mastermind, or a clothing line, or whatever the case is, always start with a help statement and figure out, because I wish I knew which page it was on there, but there's 3 categories in the help statement that you want to cover, right?
Yeah, so I'm
going to try and find it.
Yeah, for sure. So what I was talking about in that section was there's 3 industries that are by far the easiest to go into and make money from: health, wealth, relationships. And if you're within one of those 3 categories,
that's the one, health, wealth, relationships,
man, it's going to make your life so much easier. Now, you don't have to. You can sell in. I mean, dude, I've worked with people. I've worked with Netflix composers. I've worked with the #1 world football freestyle champion. I've worked with a world famous violinist. I've worked with real estate developers and investors. I've worked with traders, fitness people. I've worked with a woman who sells a knitting program. I've worked with just video editors, drop shippers, e-com people, on and on and on. So
many people, different industries.
So many different industries, man. It's just incredible. I'm working with a famous American church pastor right now to make a Bible studies program.
Really?
Imagine that.
Okay, that's interesting. The world's moving on.
Yeah, I know. It's some of the people I get to work with. It's just fantastic, man. It's so fun to help these guys build something great. But nonetheless, if you sell health, or you sell make money, wealth, or you help people with their relationships. One of my good friends, obviously I won't name names, he's doing about $1.3 million a month with a don't get divorced, like how to save your marriage offer. He's he is crushing it. He's an absolute G as well. Him and his girlfriend are fantastic. So yeah, this online education, it can be done in so many different ways, but those are the 3 key. So if you're in one of those 3, it's going to be faster and easier.
I don't want to bait out everything in the book because I know people should definitely buy it, but there's one more thing I want to mention here, right? Which I haven't really heard before, and I love it, is rather than looking at pain points, looking at gain points and how it can add value or increase someone's lifestyle. Because, we've been, if you studied business studies in school, you would know that the thing is find a problem, find a solution, right? Why not just add to someone's life rather than just looking at the problems. What can you do? What can you add? So, and then I start thinking about the whole Andrew Tate sort of thing, which I want to ask you shortly, is the fact that he doesn't say there's a problem here and there and here and there. He just says, if you do this and you join my group, whatever, your life will be improved. You'll gain a whole lot of wealth. You'll gain a whole load of girls. You'll gain a whole load of X, Y, Z, which I thought, you know what? You hit the nail on the head with that statement right there.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's kind of a fine balance, between, because people either want to get away from a pain or they want to go towards an outcome that they want. And often it's a bit of both. If you're broke, you want to not be broke, but you also want to fly private and get girls and buy a fancy watch or a car or whatever shit people think is going to make them happy. So it's a fine line for sure.
Have you ever been there have you ever been there where it's like you have tried an experiment in buying flashy stuff and then realize it doesn't make you happy? Because you said that there almost as if you have tried it.
I have tried it. I've definitely tried it, but...
Tell me about your experience with it.
Well, look, dude, I was going to say, you've got a very nice watch on, by the way, which is awesome.
So do you.
So this watch, the first time that I ever had £1 million in cash, I bought this. So that was my reward for getting $1 million in cash.
Yeah.
And it's a fancy, unnecessary, loud watch.
AKA a Rolex.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, I'm going to buy this and then I'll realize it's stupid and sell it. But I actually love this watch, man. I look down at it, not all the time. I'm not that egotistical. But I glance at it every once in a while. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. I worked hard for this and I can achieve things that I set my mind to. It's a nice reminder, actually. So this is something that I've bought and I don't regret. And other shit, just expensive dinners is a bit stupid, and renting cars is a bit over excessive, and just shit like that, just stupid stuff. But it's nice to have an abundance mindset, right? I was saying to my girlfriend yesterday, it's nice to actually waste money sometimes, just because it makes you feel abundant. It's like because I paid for a dinner a few weeks ago. It's £2,700 for like 10 of my buddies. It's quite expensive to spend on a dinner, almost £3,000 on one dinner.
Yep.
But it felt good. And I was like, I can do that. I won't even see the difference. I'll barely notice the difference.
Yeah, you'll barely feel
in the bank. And it makes you feel good, man, because then it just makes you...
It makes you want to work harder to make sure that you can always do this. You can always have this feeling.
Yeah.
I had a similar feeling maybe 2-3 weeks ago when I was last in Dubai. Towards the end of my trip, I decided to waste money and just relax. So I booked Sofitel on the Palm, which was quite expensive for what I'd usually pay for a hotel. I think it cost me in the region of £3,000 for a couple of nights, or maybe 3 nights, whatever it was. I knew it was a waste of money. It wasn't something I'm ever used to, but I was just like, let me just experience this life.
Yeah.
And at the time, and it still is as well, still lost, I haven't felt it as much, but me wasting that money has made me want to not waste more money. I'm going to word this in a way where I don't sound stupid. It is open my mind to making sure that I'm always in this position where I can do stuff like that. And so it motivates you to work harder. It motivates you to want to work more.
It does.
Do you know what I mean?
It kind of brings us back to build your asset base first. And then when you've got that, then you can reward yourself.
Yeah.
The stupid thing is when, maybe someone starts a business and they get maybe $250,000 in cash, or lottery winners are a good example of this.
Yeah, they go broke all the time.
Yeah, because they don't buy assets.
Yeah.
And if they do buy assets, they leverage them up, and then something like the interest rate thing in the UK that's just happened happens, and then you are in a bad situation. So I think I'm a big fan of buy everything with cash. I hate debt. I think it's unnecessary risk. When you're in the position, when you're making good money, that is, if you can afford to not kind of use debt. But yeah, just build the asset base first and then enjoy yourself because you've earned it, so. You
sold your company for how much? Are you allowed to say, or?
I can't say the exact amount, a few million.
Okay, a few million, but it's more than 10 million.
No, it's not. No,
okay.
It wasn't above 10 million. The reason for the name of the book is because the business that I just sold, we did 16.4 million in total sales. That was the end amount on the day that we closed, September 30th last year.
Yeah.
So the name of the book, I didn't want to do 1 mil because it's It's not that special.
1 mil in today's society, a house in London can easily cost you $1 million or just shy of $1 million.
It's not that. It's $1 million is not that
10
special.
10 mil is the new mil.
10 is a good number. It's not too excessive, but you're set for life. If you can get your net worth to 10 million, you're set forever, man. So.
Because you've got yourself in a very good financial free position that you are in right now. The question I have for you, Will, is how easy was it or how hard was it?
It was kind of, well, see, this is the thing. I love working. So a day of work is just a day of fun to me. Like I love, writing copy and building ads and building sales processes and doing calls and hiring and training and building products and stuff. So this whole thing was just me playing and having fun, and I think that gave me a massive edge because I love doing the work. Yeah. I'll work all day long, 7 days a week, no problem. So I really enjoyed the whole journey. So maybe for some people it would have been a lot of work. It's been, oh my God, tens of thousands of hours of work, man, over the last 7 years to get to where we are today. But yeah, it was kind of...
I mean, when you think about it, it's crazy because as you said in this podcast, you started in 2018 pretty much. So in the space of 6 years, you've done all of this.
Yeah.
And you've built this amount of wealth.
Yeah.
But I think it shows testament with your habits that you've portrayed. That's how you get here.
Yeah, I've got bad habits. I don't want to go into them. Drinking alcohol, smoking cigars, say no more. But I just love working, and I just love building things. So I think it's been a fun journey. There's been stressful times. Hiring and ads don't work and the funnel's not profitable and all of the fun stuff that comes with building and growing a business. Right? It's never easy. I think I'd be stupid to say that it's easy. It's not easy, But if you love what you do, it's a hell of a lot easier. Yeah, I would say so.
So what's your goal right now then? Because you've sold that company, what's your goal right now? What are you trying to work towards? Are you building another company that you're working on? I know you just mentioned the consultancy and coaching, but is that a company that you're building? Or is that something you're just doing for passion?
Yeah, it is a company that I'm building. So let me share a story to give you context. Right now, one thing that I love to do is write in this journal that I've got. Every few days, I'll write in the journal, and it's like, stuff like, where am I at wealth-wise? Where am I at business-wise? Where am I at fitness-wise? Where are my relationships at? Am I happy or not? What am I enjoying doing? What am I not enjoying doing? And I've done this for about 4 years, and I've filled a few journals. It's quite nice to have them as a tracker of the progress. Now, not last year, but the year before, so September 2022, I was having a coffee downstairs in the building that I live in and writing in my journal. And I was kind of in a place where I was close to being what I considered set for life. So the only two things that I wanted to do, my next two goals, were to sell the business and buy my dream apartment in Dubai with cash. And then I consider myself set for life.
So you wanted to sell the business?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I was writing in my journal, and I asked myself a question. I wrote down, what is the number one thing in the world that I love the most? And the answer was talking about business. One of my absolute number one favorite things in the world to do is to go for dinner with my buddies and talk about business. What are you working on? How's your business going? Where are you at in terms of numbers? What's working? What's not working? That is my number one favorite thing to do in the world. And I thought, dude, I'm doing that like twice a month right now. And all the rest of the time, I'm not doing that. So what am I doing? And I was growing the e-learning company, and I was going to the gym, and I just wasn't doing that anywhere near as much as I thought that I should, if that's my number one passion. And I decided literally then and there, right, I'm going to sell the business. I'm going to go and do that full time. I'm going to make that my career. So I WhatsApped messaged one of my past mentors, a guy called Dan Bradbury, who was the guy that actually taught me that I even could sell my company. And I said to Dan, listen, I've decided I want to sell my learning company. Please, can you mentor me through the sale and tell me what to do immediately? I want to go right now. So literally a few days later, we were on a call. I was paying his monthly fee. We got on with selling the company. And then obviously the next September came and we finally kind of completed that exit. And along the way, I started just slowly and steadily working with some smaller people. So that the first ever guy I worked with, Oliver Denyer, e-com entrepreneur, he came to me at about 35k a month. And after about 4 or 5 months, he was doing about 200k a month. He was my first ever business coaching client. And I just started taking on a few business coaching clients. I started building a program, which is the program that I share with people today. And yeah, I just made it happen. And then when I'd sold the company, I started I guess the official company name is buildgrowandexit.com. So that's the name of the company that I'm building right now. Yeah. So buildgrowandexit.com. And those are the 3 things that I help people do. So it's either newbies that I help to build one of these companies, or they're already going and I help them to grow, or if they're already up there, I help them to exit. And those are the 3 things that I do right now. So right now I'm working with some beginners, some people are more in the middle. I'm helping a few people to actually exit, and they're using my M&A advisor as well to do that. And this is exactly what I wanted and what I dreamed about, is just to do what we're doing right now, talk about business, share it with other people, get the book out there to fuel the growth of Build, Grow and Exit. Yeah. And dude, I just feel like every day I just mess around and have fun. Like the calls, I get off the calls feeling better than I went on them. I think that's when you know that what you're doing is right. And like I was saying to you earlier, I kind of live by these 3 things: make money, have fun, and help people. And I run every decision through that kind of matrix. You know, whenever it comes to anything like this podcast, Will, do you want to do a podcast? Make money, have fun, help people. Well, yeah, I might get some clients from it, right? I'm certainly going to bloody enjoy it and have fun, and it's hopefully going to help people. Let's go. Yeah. Job done, you know?
Yeah, sick. I'm going to come into the topic of mentors in a second, because it's something you stress a lot in the book. But just to go back to selling the company, was it the company that bought your company? Was it so they could take over, or they just wanted the data, or how? I kind of want to know the sales process a little bit more, just to break it down.
Dude, let's go deep on it. So when I spoke to Dan, one of the first things that Dan ever said to me was the 3 most likely buyers for a business. I hope I get these right. It's in the book. Your customer, your customers, a team member, or a competitor. So one of your customers, one of your team members, or one of your competitors, those are the 3 most likely buyers of a business. So we went to those first, and we couldn't find a buyer, basically. And it took us about 3 months to realize we're not going to find a buyer there. Then I found an M&A advisor called Dominic Sullivan, fantastic advisor. And he basically helped me build what's called an IM. It's an investor memorandum. It's like a PDF that is like a sales manual for your business, basically. Breaks down your numbers, team, industry. And then he sent that out to his network, his book of buyers. And we had 2 interested parties: a venture capital firm from Canada and a private equity firm from America, which is who we ended up selling to. The first sale, it just wasn't a right fit for them. They were looking for a trading education company specifically, but it wasn't a good fit. And the second guys were trying to roll up trading education companies for a bigger exit. So they were buying us for our team and the profitability of our ads. Then they wanted to buy 1 or 2 other trading education companies for some other bits and bobs. But so the process was going to those guys first, which didn't work, then going to Dominic, building an IM, putting it out to his book of buyers, and then we did due diligence for about 6 weeks with the first guys that fell through. And then we signed the LOI with Highview, who actually bought us in April. So April, May, June, July, August, and it took 6 months to actually sell. So,
what's the first thing you done when you got the call saying the company sold?
Dude,
money's landed.
I remember it well. So I called my girlfriend and was like, I got the money. Like, it's done. Here. And it was a stressful due diligence period, man, because it was the first ever info business they ever bought. So they just didn't get it. You know, they were like, why do you charge this price? And why do customers buy from you? And like, why don't you run ads here? Why do you run ads there? And all this stuff that was obvious to us, but really not obvious to them. So it was a difficult 6-month due diligence process. But nonetheless, dude, when I sold, it was like, my dream has come true. I can finally put a tick in the box. I've sold a company for multi-7 figures to a big, substantial buyer. It's done. I've completed the chapter, you know, and I was just pumped to go and do the next thing, you know. So,
did the money land all in one go straight away?
No, I got about 40% of it in cash, and the other 60 across 2 years in a monthly payment plan with 10% interest per year. So
okay, 10% interest as well. Sick. So even more than the original agreed figure.
Yeah.
Smashed, mate. Smashed it. So then what's the first thing you bought? I believe you said your flat in Dubai, right?
Yeah, that was the first proper big thing. I mean, I went out for a dinner, but yeah, the apartment that I live in now, I bought that. It was about $1.3 million cash. So not like the biggest purchase ever, but yeah.
Okay, so literally I've just opened the book. I've made it up to chapter 6, yeah? And this is where I want to bring it onto mentors. Because up until chapter 6, I haven't read the rest, so I wouldn't be able to say. But you mentioned a guy quite often by the name of, I wrote this down actually so I can remember. His name is Alex Becker, a mentor. Now, I want to kind of understand the idea about mentors because I feel like I'm maybe at a stage right now where I need a mentor. I need guidance. So I want to know what a mentor's done for you and how do you even go around finding a mentor in the first place?
Dude, I'm going to give you 2 hopefully powerful examples here. And I really hope that this helps people. I think that it will. So my e-learning company started in pretty much 2018, right? And that first year, like I said, we did about 25, 30 grand, right? And I did it using kind of common sense. I didn't really know much. I was just figuring it out. The next year, as we made the product better and we started a YouTube channel and got more traffic and made more sales and raised the price, we did about $250,000, right? So now, December 2019, I was actually DJing in London. I was meant to play at this club called Fabric. I was in the hotel room before the show on my laptop, and I saw a YouTube ad from Alex Becker. And he was basically saying, do you sell online education? If you're not making a few $100,000 a month, you're doing something wrong. You're probably not running a funnel and you're not running ads. And I was like, what's a funnel? I'm like, what? How on earth do you run paid ads? Is it not expensive? Is it not risky? I did not know how to do it in any way, shape or form. I'd seen a few of Alex's videos, which is probably why I saw his ad. So I kind of knew him, trusted him, liked him. And long story short, I booked a call and I bought his program. It was like, I think it was $6,000, $7,000. And that was December 2019. I remember that very, very clearly.
Was that $6,000 a lot for you at the time?
Yes and no. It was substantial. It was the most I'd ever spent in one hit, for sure.
Yeah.
So, now here's my point. So 2019, we made about $250,000. 2020, we made about 1.3 mil. So we more than like 5x or around that, right?
Yeah.
All of that was thanks to Alex, 100%, because I was doing this and I just did not know that I could do that. And the minute I did that, I 5x the business. This is what happens with me and my clients all the time. People come to me like Oliver Denyer, making 35. He just didn't know what to do or how. I told him what to do and how. And, he left me at about 200K a month. So he had a 200 grand a month business, but he didn't even know it. He didn't know how, And there's a lot of people out there, they have a great skill, they have a great talent, they have a great idea for an offer or a business. They just don't know how to do it and build it and get it out there. That's my job right now, is to unlock that for them and make them that money, right? So that's my first example. If you don't know what you don't know, you're sat on money, like the money is right there, but you just can't fucking get it because you don't know how, right? So Alex unlocked a lot of money for me. So that's example number 1. The second example I want to share is from one of my clients, this fitness guy called Mike Thurston.
Yep, shout out to Mike Thurston, yep.
The story's in the book.
Yep.
So I was at a dinner with Mike, talking to one of my buddies about, when are you doing your mastermind next? Or, yeah, I'm doing mine next month. And Mike was like, he was sat right next to me. He said, what's a mastermind? I was like, well, it's like a 2-3 day event in person, and in the business context, you get some people in a room of all different shapes and sizes, and you help each other to build and grow and learn. And he was like, I wonder if I could do a mastermind. And I was like, dude, you can 100% do a mastermind, no problem. Would you like me to help you? And he was like, yeah. So he paid my consulting fee and we worked together for 2 months. And long story short, I taught him what a mastermind is. I showed him how to do one. I wrote his video to put on YouTube to sell the thing. Told him, get an online store. You should charge this price. We're going to do this together. And he just blindly did what I said. So credit to Mike for having that level of respect for me and let me just tell him what to do. And in just above 24 hours, he made $150,000 in cash.
Mad.
That 150,000 was like there, and he just didn't know how to access it.
Yeah.
And I just came along and said, do this, do this, do this, 150 grand in the bank.
It's crazy because I like I said, this is probably the reason why this book resonates with me. I can see the money. I can see it behind you, bro. I can see all of it, right? It's just about how the fuck do I get it?
Yeah.
What's the route to get it?
Yeah.
So in this part of the podcast, this is where I'm going to be a bit more selfish, right? So I'm going to tell you in this book, you always talk about, understanding your knowledge, understanding your skill set and working it from there. So if I had to say to you, in my head was building a podcast course or building a content creation course, because my skill set and my knowledge is I know how to make a podcast. I know how to make a high quality production, and I know how to make it turn over 6 figures a year. I'll say a year. I do it for myself, this channel. I do it for my second channel, which the first vlog I just released on 300,000 views. The formula works. I do it for a couple of other people, and so I know that my skill set is here. And on top of that, I get a whole load of messages all the time saying, hey bro, I'm just starting a podcast. How can I do this? How can I do that? Or I'm starting a YouTube channel. Any tips? How I'm starting content creation. What platform should I go on? Etc. I get so many questions all the time, right? So I can already see you're thinking away. I'm sending it straight to you.
Dude, I just love it, man. I love it when someone comes to me with so much value and so much proof, and just so much to give and share and help people with, because I'm good at unlocking it.
Yeah.
So when people come to me, I just get so excited. Now, I just want to say one thing. Whenever people come to me and they say, oh, well, people have started asking me, can you help me? That is the number one biggest sign in the world. That is like the universe saying, help these people, man. For God's sakes, help them.
Yeah.
So that's fucking awesome to hear that. And let me ask you a question, right? So do you believe that some people out there could benefit from what you have to share?
Oh, 100%. 1,000,000%.
Why?
Because I see if they're already coexisting podcasters or content creators, I see them, I stumble across them, and I see the mistakes they make. And I'm just like, please do this, please do that, please do this. So I know where I can improve them. I know I can make them more money, or I know I can improve the whole production, get better guests or network better and all that sort of stuff. Because inside of this content creation course, whatever the case may be, mastermind, whatever, one of the main subjects I do is networking. We'll speak about this more later on, but that was just the answer to your question.
Yeah. I mean, this is the great thing. There's so many things that you could help people with. I mean, you could do a 6-figure podcast program where people work with you for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. They get like a training program element. They get a group coaching element. They get a one-to-one element, and you can give them everything that they need to either build their own podcast, or if they have one, to grow the podcast.
Yeah.
And like you just said, when you look at what they're doing, you can see the holes, you can see the mistakes, and very quickly fill them and get them a result. Yeah. Right.
Because I think we can both agree on this, is the fact that a lot of people build audiences and don't know how to monetize it in the best potential ways at all. Like they'll monetize it to some extent, but if I say 6-figure podcast or CEOCAST makes 6 figures, you're 100%, I'm 100% going to have people who just don't believe it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, in my head, it's piss easy.
Yeah.
Like 6 figures for me at the moment right now is me undercharging, is me undervaluing myself. I should be on near 7 figures a year, right? So I know the value is there.
100%, man. I mean, how many people out there would love to begin doing what you've done? I mean, there's so many of them. So the next question is, well, how do you create an offer? And there's a few things that you could do, right? You could do a 1-day intensive in-person podcasting workshop. Here's how to find and book guests. Here's what camera equipment you need and how to use it.
Yeah, literally.
Here's how to function the business side of things and maybe do the marketing and the sales and whatever else, right? So you could do a 1-day workshop. You could do a 3-day mastermind, right? Where you mix in some lifestyle stuff as well. Do some work in the day, go out for a nice dinner, do some work in the day, go on a yacht for the sunset, whatever you like. So that's another thing you could do.
Because the great thing with this as well is it's not just applies for podcasts, it's just content all in general. Because a couple of people I help, they don't even do podcasts, they do other content, but the formula works. It's a broad formula where it can work for vlogs, it can work for podcasts, it can work for talking head video, similar to what you do. So there's the way I see it is there's clients in all different industries of YouTube. Do you know what I mean?
Dude, what you could do is so broad. And this is often something that I say to people. I say, look, you can do a workshop, you can do a mastermind, you can do a course, you can do coaching, you can just do one-to-one consulting, you can do all these things. I would say, what do you want to do? What are you going to enjoy the most? Because it's not just about the money, you know, like sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes money's more important, sometimes it's less important, depending on where you're at. So I don't mean any disrespect by saying that. But you've got to enjoy your bloody life as well. This is one thing that it took me too long to realise. You know, you've got to do what you bloody love, or else you're not going to like your life. So the money's irrelevant if you're not enjoying making it.
Yeah.
You know,
of course.
so what would you love to do the most? Do you want to work in person? Do you want to not work in person? What do you think?
I mean, off the top of my head, I first thought where I could do a off-person one where, you know, I sit down and bang out a few days. I don't know how long it will take, to be fair, but let's just say structure 20 lessons and do it all pre-recorded where someone purchases it, right? But then after reading your book, I'm like, okay, cool, we can do that. And then what if I throw in a mastermind there as a back-end sort of thing? Because I do love the whole concept about masterminds. I've never been to one. I definitely do want to go to one in the future, whether it be yours, Mike's, or whoever the case may be, and host that in Dubai. You know, having it in a villa, the guests coming, the students coming, going out for dinner, etc., making it fun, making it lively. But as you said, and I'm in the agreement of you as well. Life's not all about money. It's just about enjoying yourself and making the most out of life. So I definitely think having a mastermind as well now. It's something that I'd want to do.
That's good to hear.
One-to-one coach. I was thinking about one-to-one coaching, but then at the same time, I want to ask you this: how time consuming is it actually?
People keep asking me this. So basically, to give you context, so I do 3 things at the moment: DIY, do it yourself, done with you, done for you, right? So my DIY program is like my bottom tier one. All right, so it's £3,000 a month. And you get 2 group coaching calls every week. So 2 hours on a Monday, 2 hours on a Thursday with me. And you get my training program, which is a deep, high-level online program that teaches you everything you'd ever need to know about building one of these businesses. That's one tier. The middle tier, right, which to give you context, is done with you. And instead of group coaching, it's one-to-one with me. So that's £7,000 a month, cancel anytime. And you can book in on my private calendar for a one-to-one with me whenever you need. 1, 2, 3 times a week, whenever you need. And you
£7,000 each time.
£7 a month.
Yeah.
A month. Then you get unlimited one-to-ones.
Oh, okay.
The training program and my WhatsApp.
Yep.
Right, for that middle one. And then the Done For You program is £45,000 one time. And I work with you for 3 months and I actually build everything for you. Like, write your ads, build your funnel, write your VSL or webinar. Everything that needs to be built, I build it for you. Myself. Right? Those are my 3 offers. 3K a month, cancel anytime group. 7K a month, one-to-one, cancel anytime, done with you. Or done for you, which again, you get anytime one-to-one and you get everything, but I just do it all for you, basically. The reason I tell you that is to give context to the one-to-one. Now, I love the one-to-ones. I find them fun. I would do them for fun anyway, because I just love it.
Is this in person or like online or?
I do in person, but it's on Zoom.
Okay,
usually.
yeah.
I mean, if someone's in Dubai,
Yeah.
we'll go for a coffee and do a session.
Yeah.
But one-to-one, the one-to-one is the way that you get people the best results by far. If you coach someone one-to-one, the chances of success is like bloody 9.5 out of 10. Because you're with them, you force them to do the work, you hold the hand, you get in the trenches with them. And that's why all my clients, I think, do so well, because I'm bloody there with them, forcing them and pushing them along. Is it time consuming? Yeah. It is, because I mean, if I've got 10 clients, then I'm doing like 20 hours a week with them on Zoom, right? But I went on holiday for a month to Thailand last month, and it was easy, man. Like, I just did a full day of calls on a Monday, a full day of calls on a Thursday and a Friday, and I'm talking like 8 calls a day. So it's easy, man. It's so easy. It's so fun. I love doing it. So it takes time, but it's worth my time for the money, you know. So.
And how are you finding these? How are you finding the clients? Because from social media, this is no offensive way at all, or anything like that. You're not the biggest on socials, but I want to know how exactly you're finding the clients then, because that's quite interesting. Because someone with a following, Mike Thurston, I'm not to say getting clients for him was easy. So Mike, if you're watching this, that's not what I mean. But I mean more chances of him getting the clients because he's got the following, as opposed to someone like yourself. Do you know what I mean? So where were you getting the clients from? Yeah,
so right now, we book at the moment, we book about 7 sales calls a day right now.
Sick.
So quite a lot.
Yeah.
And of all those sales calls that people book to talk about working with me, about 70% come from the YouTube channel, about 30 from the Instagram. But often people have watched the YouTube, gone to the Instagram, and then they'll book a call because there's a link in my bio which takes you to like an explainer video. Yeah. And then if you want to discuss working with me, you book in a call and you speak to a member of my team. And then they'll let you in if they think it's a good fit, and they'll turn you away if they don't think it's a good fit.
Okay, so you turn people away as well?
Absolutely we do. Okay, absolutely we do. I had a guy comment on my YouTube a few days ago actually, and he said, I've just had a call with Carl and he didn't give me access because he doesn't think my offer is ready yet, and he gave me some tips, so I'm going to go and do that and then I'll come back and join later. I was like, that's how it should be, man. You know, we're not just trying to close. I don't need the money anymore, man, so I don't need to just close anyone. You know, I don't need any amount of clients. Coming into this, my goal with this company, when I first started it after selling the company, I thought if I can just make £50,000 a month cash, I'm set. And we're making quite a lot more than that.
Yeah, I mean, 50 quid a month alone is a lot.
Yeah, well, when you're making 850.
Okay, when you're making 850, but I mean, the thing is, this is crazy because there's no figure that you can't achieve, but at the same time, 10 grand a month for people is life-changing money. That's £120,000 in a year.
Mate, I've been there.
Yeah. I remember like a family member job back in the day. He was a contractor, and I remember him saying, yearly you make £120,000. £120,000 once was a lot of money. I know in the day and age now of entrepreneurship and business, people look at 120 grand, 120 grand. Good, but you could be doing more. But a month is mental.
You know what? So I think I've become numb to it. After all these years, I've definitely become numb to that much money. Then again, my friend group, literally this morning, one of my buddies was at my house. He's making about $730 a month right now. And
these figures just make me laugh.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I mean, one of my other buddies who lives on the Palm, when I spoke to him last week, he's doing some recurring thing that he's trying to build now. He's doing about 800 a month-ish. We did, with the consulting, I did 364 last month, cash collected. So these numbers, they sound, and again, I told you earlier about the woman that commented on my YouTube literally like this morning or yesterday, and she was like, how on earth do you charge 8.5 grand for a program? If she knew how much was being made, you know, 750 a month, 400 a month, a lot of people don't even believe it. People that watch this podcast will hear me say that and they will not believe it, but it's fucking true. So
yeah, because they're making a whole load of money. Like, for example, if I'm paying you whatever the price may be, let's go more into this actually, because if I was to make this content creation course, what would, off the top of your head, what would the fee be? What do you think I should charge and offer, etc.? If you was to be creating this program for me.
It reminds me, I remember when Mike Thurston asked me that question and he said, what do you think I should charge? And I said, £8,000. It was like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Mean, that's exactly what I'd say right now as
well. And then we sold 15 tickets in a day, you know. So, yeah. But, well, look, when it comes to pricing things, right, I've got a framework for it. So whenever anyone says to me, what will I charge? I always say, in a year of working with you, if someone bought your program today, how much money would they make within 12 months? So after a year to today, roughly how much would they have made, do you think, on average?
Bare minimum, at the bare minimum, this is the low end, 10 grand minimum.
10 grand.
Yeah. But the thing is with YouTube, it's a funny game because, to be fair, I'm sure it's for everything else. I could give you all the rules and all the tricks of the book and everything like that. But if you don't put in the work and you don't follow it, then how far are you going to really go? And how much money are you going to really make? And also YouTube is a very patient game because someone will be doing YouTube, making videos for 4 weeks, get 10 subscribers and then think, oh no, I've just wasted my money. I'm not doing this.
I'm going to re-ask you that question, I think. So if someone bought your program and they went ham, they fucking did the work, they were 100% on it, you know, and they did everything that you asked and more, and they went in, roughly how much do you think they'd make after a year, after a full 12 months?
okay, I have a question off the back of that first. Have they already got a pre-existing audience, or are they like a nobody starting who wants to be a content creator, etc.?
I like that. Let's answer for both.
Okay.
So answer me for a brand new raw beginner,
Yeah.
and answer me for someone who's already got a bit of a little thing going.
Okay. If you're a brand new beginner, no one knows you, you literally just come out of the mud. Being realistic, probably about $5,000. If you're an already existing content creator, whether it be on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, and you already have an audience, $50,000 minimum.
Perfect. So what I usually like to charge 10 to 20% of a year's worth of expected average outcome. So you just said there, $50,000 for those guys that are already in that. For that, I charge about $10,000, 8, 10, 12-ish.
Yep.
Because then, I mean, look, would you pay 8 to make 50?
Yeah, 100%.
Would you pay 10 to make 50?
Yeah.
Would you pay 12 to make 50?
Yeah.
I'll stop there because I don't want to take the piss. So 8, 10, 12K.
The way I'd start questioning it is I may be reluctant to pay 20 for 50.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's going far. Still a good ROI, but yeah. And then coming back to the other answer, you said 5. Well, for that, you might want to charge something like 995 because they're putting basically $1,000 in and getting 5 out for no return. Or you could do something recurring. You could do $199 a month, cancel anytime. $299 a month, cancel anytime. You know, and then you always get some people that will jump in and jump out. You'll get some that will stay for 3, 4, 5 months. My longest ever client, I believe, is like 13 months now, 14 months. And he's bought my mastermind twice, which is sick. So you always get those outliers, the 1% guys that will stay for a very long time because if someone joins and they get amazing outcomes, they don't want to leave you. They fucking love you.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the reoccurring one's something I'm actually setting up. And that's going to be completely aside from the content creation education, but that's going to be more of, okay, cool. Me and Will are doing this podcast right now. You can either come in here live in person. It will be live streamed on Discord or Zoom, whatever the case is. So you can ask questions directly. We're going to do content interviews outside of the podcast. So you get a chance, me and Will on a Zoom meeting. You can join in. I'll ask all the questions. You can join in right there and all that sort of stuff. More knowledge like that. That would be priced at between $30 to $50 a month. Right? That's what I'm thinking anyway.
God, that's cheap. Why so cheap?
Really? Oh, I thought you were giving that face like it's expensive.
No way. Dude, I was thinking, I mean, God, that's so valuable. I mean, I think $297 at least, man, because just think of what you're getting to speak to multi bloody millionaires, you know, who have done likely exactly what you want to do. And they're giving you the step-by-step, the cheat code to making, I mean, that's what the book is all about, you know.
Yeah.
That's
I suppose you could class it as mentorship, but
50 is, that's disrespectful to yourself. All the value, the time, the work, the learning, the effort, you can't sell that for $50, man.
Understandable, but at the same time, I do want to make it a big community. So how many people are going to be in that 300 a month?
There is a playoff. There is, I mean,
I suppose you could do different tiers to it then.
Yeah, you've got a fair point there because, I mean, the next question to ask is like, who do you want in there? Because again, going back to what we said about price, the higher the price, the more serious the person, but the less you'll get.
Yeah.
The lower the price, the less serious the person, but the more you'll get.
Yeah.
So it's where do you want to be on the scale? You know, for me, my prices are fairly high. They're not the highest in the world, but they're fairly high. That's because I don't want to work with a lot of people, man. I only want to work with serious people, and
Quality
only serious people work with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to pay 3 or 7 or 45, you are not messing around, man. You're going to do the work.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's good for me though, because the clients do the work and get the result.
Yeah.
Whereas if I charge $47 a month, I get just the stupidest people in, loads of refunds, loads of chargebacks, loads of bullshit, stupid reviews. You know, when you work with those people, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, of course, of course. I was gonna do like the whole course. If I was to do it pre-recorded, it would have been like 20 odd lessons or so from A to Z, everything, equipment, how to do this, how to do that, all of it for $497, one off. That's what I was thinking off the top of my head originally, because I was thinking, cool, if 100 people buy that, that's $50,000 right there.
Yeah.
But then, as you're saying right there, if I was to charge $5,000 for it, and I don't know, 10 people buy it, just 10 people, that's still $50,000 right there.
Yeah, I'm a fan of having tiers, you know, because whenever we speak to anyone on the phone and we tell them about the 3, they know immediately which one to go into. Like literally, the Bible studies guy, he's in the 45.
Yeah.
So he paid the 45. He's a deadly serious guy, and he's on it. And he was like, I want it to be the best thing in the world. Let's go. Right. Mm-hmm. If you're a newer person, they usually come into the 3 because they're like, well, they're not ready for the 7, and they're nowhere near ready for the 45. The 3 can get them to that 10, 20, 30K a month in, 1, 2, 3 months. And then a lot of people move into the 7 after that and to scale further. I'm a fan of tiers. Maybe you could have a, starter, maybe a group that's maybe 97 a month or something. I'm just spitballing here. Then maybe you could have the 497 or the 997, which is for the more serious people, but it's still low ticket-ish. Then you could have the $5,000 for the guys that are like, I want your time, 1-to-1. I want to go ham.
I want full mentorship.
I am deadly serious, man. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, you will always sell all of those. There's someone, the power of 1%, if you speak to 100 people, 1 or 2 will buy this, 10, 15, 20 will buy this, the other 80 will buy this.
We'll buy that, yeah. It's like the triangle period, the thing you've got on there, I can't remember what page it is again.
Yeah.
But what was the triangle reference you called?
Yeah, so it's like the depth and understanding of a market in terms of like, there's just a few people at the top that are deadly serious, 100% in, and they want that problem solved. They want the outcome. Yeah. They'll do anything to get it. Then there's like 25% of people that are similar, but they're not deadly serious. They're serious, but they're not deadly serious.
Yeah.
Then you got the guys they're kind of not serious, but they will try it and they'll do it. And then the bottom people,
just not interested.
They'll buy something, but it's got to be cheap as chips.
Yeah.
You know?
No, fair enough. Well, that's kind of my plans, and I'm sure we're going to hopefully make that happen in the future. But going back to it, building your wealth, it doesn't come easy. So I do want to ask you, bro, at this point, what's been the biggest struggle you've had to face in your life along the way?
The biggest struggle in terms of business, building wealth?
Both. I suppose we could do it personally and building wealth, because the two also interlinked at some point too.
Well, at one stage when I was about 1.5 years into building the e-learning company, somehow, and I still don't know how, music people from my past found out about it. And there was a lot of bad comments and like, who does he think he is starting a business? And he's a musician, he's not a business person. And, it's never going to work. And it was not nice to deal with. I think when someone says, like, you're shit, you can't do it, you're going to fail. Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Whether it comes from friends or family or people that you don't even know, which was my case, I don't even know these people, it still weighs you down, and it's I think it makes you a bit sad, and you start to doubt yourself and stuff.
Yeah, you do, for sure.
So I think it makes me a bit, it's like reading the comments all over again, just telling you about this, but you've got to fucking just do the work, man, and just shut up and just do the work.
Just graft it out.
Just, get the knowledge that you need, do the work that you've got to do, and just stay patient. And it will happen, man. So just, dealing with that shit was not nice to deal with, but they can fuck off now, So that's all good. And building wealth, it's a slow thing, it's just a slow and steady thing. I wish that I could. Buying real estate I'm buying a block of apartments right now. It's taken like fucking 6 months and we're still not bloody done with it. Building wealth.
When you say you're buying a block of apartments,
yeah,
the whole block,
yeah,
in Dubai or
back in the UK, it's in England. So that's a new venture. I've never bought more than one. I've bought an apartment, a house, but never a block before, which is quite cool. So that's a new thing. But yeah, coming back to your question. It takes time, and you got to wait and, invest the money and store it. Don't waste it. Don't be stupid with it. And it takes time. My net worth is not where I'd like it to be. I'm more than happy with it, but it's not where I'd like it to be. So I want to keep playing the game and just stay patient. Sometimes it's hard to stay patient.
As you say there, your net worth isn't where you'd like it to be. Though saying that, is it something that you could easily retire on?
Dude, without a doubt, man. I could just stop working today. I own my apartment here outright with cash. So I have no mortgages. I have no rent. I have very little bills. I've millions in cash. So I could absolutely retire today. Yeah.
Do you know when after hearing all these figures on the podcast, now I understand why you live in Dubai. Because if it was UK, that's gone.
Thank God. Yeah. I just hate the UK. It's, the number one thing, people don't believe me when I say this, but the number one reason I live in Dubai is the weather.
Not tax.
Weather comes first. It actually really does. And there is tax here now. It's 9%.
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless.
Still better than UK, isn't it?
The weather comes first, because I remember when I lived in my first ever shitty little one-bed studio in Manchester, when the business started doing well, on the grey days, you just feel like shit. You know, you look at the fucking rain, the clouds, and you just don't feel good. Yeah. But here, when you wake up and you see the blue skies, you see the ocean.
You're in a good mood.
Yeah, you can go harder. Moving to Dubai was one of the number one best decisions I've ever made.
How long have you been there for now?
Pretty much dead on 3 years.
Have you been back to UK since, or?
Oh yeah, I go back for my dad's birthday in June, mum's birthday in September, Christmas usually in December.
Okay, so you go back often then?
Yeah, 2-3 times a year. I try not to, but I have to, so.
Would you live here forever? Because this is the question me and people always, ask themselves is, yes, we'd come to Dubai. Yes, we'd go after it and work here and do what we need to do here. But they all say at some point, and I heard your missus I overheard your missus saying it before the podcast started, is that she don't know if she could live here forever. Yeah.
Well, I would like to always have a base here forever. I'd like, for me right now, I mean, I'm about to buy a villa in either Bali or Thailand, right? Like a holiday home. And I want to do 3 months there, 9 months here. So you can come here, dial in, do the work, and then go there and chill for 3 months. I think that's a nice balance, So that's what I'm doing right now is finding that balance. And that's what it's been like since selling the business. Money is finally done now. So I can stop just focusing on money. And now I can be like, what do I want? What is balance? What do I enjoy? What do I find fun? What do I actually want to do? So that's kind of where my head is at right now.
What's the biggest challenge you've had to face in your life?
The biggest challenge that I've had to face in my life, being persistent, I think, just not stopping, because I could have stopped it. I could have tried to make music work. I'm in stubborn. I could have tried to just make trading work and not do the education side, because some people are scared of the whole e-learning thing. Could have done that and not come as far. The biggest challenge, staying focused. I think, honestly, the hardest thing to do is stay focused and not get distracted by the bullshit. Just your friends saying bad things, your family doubting you, people talking shit about you, and just letting the world crush you, because the world is built to have you poor, and have you broke, and have you fucked, relying on the system. So the struggle is focusing and just doing what you've got to do, get the education you've got to get, do the work you've got to do, shut up and fucking do the work, man, and don't stop until you're where you want to be.
I love it. That's a real message to leave people off with. You got to keep it real. William, I want to thank you for your time, my bro. If people want to buy your book, where can they do so? And this isn't just me saying this. This is coming from someone who never reads a book. I haven't read a book since year 10. This is, without a doubt, the best thing you could buy in 2024 at least, or however long Will sells the book for, to be fair. But I'm only, like I said to you guys, I'm only on chapter 6 about to start chapter 6. And so far, just from reading this, I've been wanting to do this podcast with Will, just because this is, as Will said, he's there to unlock someone's mind, unlock the money. This has literally unlocked, so far, a lot for me, which is sick. And it's made me strategize my brain and all that sort of stuff. One thing I just thought of right now as well, actually, is, if my face was attached to an e-learning company, would it be harder to sell?
So my e-learning company was named after me, and it was my voice, but it was faceless. So throughout that entire company, from day one to the end, to selling it, it was completely faceless, right? Now, to people's surprise, you can sell a personally branded business. Yeah. There's certain steps that you've got to take. Like, you have to remove yourself from operations so it can function without you. Yep. Right? If you're running the thing and selling the thing, you're never going to be able to sell it because it's reliant on you. Yeah. So, like my mentor, Dan Bradbury, used to say, build a business that doesn't rely on you, so it's more scalable and more sellable. That's like his tagline. So to answer your question, can you build it with your face and sell it? Absolutely you can. A little bit more work to do, a little bit harder, but it can be done. Can you build a business? This is a big thing that a lot of people say to me. Will, I don't want to show my face. Can I build an e-learning company, share my knowledge, share my talents, share my skills, and keep it faceless? Well, I did. So absolutely you can. You know, and I know a few people that do really big numbers, man. I know a faceless YouTube guy it's a faceless brand. He's about 1.4 million a month with it. So
crazy.
Yeah, it can absolutely be faceless.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking about it, because if I was to branch this thing if I was to call it let's just say the monthly subscription, if I was to call that CEOHUB, and then whatever the content creation thing is, but it's still me doing the lessons and all that sort of stuff, pre-recorded or coaching, whatever the case is, I'm trying to think if that's sellable, because I'm now attaching a face to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Dude, this is a whole...
Yeah, this is a whole consultant right here, and all that sort of stuff.
This is a whole consulting session right here. But could you sell it? Absolutely, man. You would brand it as a media business, right? So, I mean, you have already. It's CEOCAST. It's not your Namecast. It's the CEOCAST.
Yeah.
And what you've built is very valuable. You could sell this podcast right now, right? There'd be work. You couldn't just sell it tomorrow. There'd be work to do, but you could absolutely sell this as a media business. And I'm lucky to be involved in conversations like this with my M&A advisor, Dominic, and the 2 or 3 guys that we're helping to exit right now as well, which is quite cool. But it can be done. Maybe this is something to put on your vision board, you know, to achieve in the future.
Yeah, all the power to you, bro. What's the message you want to leave people with to wrap up the podcast?
Selling your knowledge is one of the fastest, easiest, most fulfilling and most profitable things that you can do. And almost everybody has a skill, a talent, some specialist, some high value knowledge that would really help and add value to the world.
Yeah.
You're an amazing example of that, man. What you've built, all the value that you have to share and give, you should be sharing it, and you should be compensated for sharing it. Money is just an exchange of value. You know, we use money to exchange value. That's all it is. Nothing to be scared about. And I really hope that just 1 or 2 or 3 people that watch this are excited by this, and they can see that it is very much doable. They can see that this is the way to make the money that is going to change your life. So read the book, learn how to sell your knowledge and make millions. You can get it on any Amazon in the world. Just type in the name of the book or me or whatever you like.
Yeah.
And
#1 seller right now as well, man. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How does that make you feel? The amount of support you've had for #1 seller.
Yeah, it's just awesome, man. It's just awesome. I'm so happy and thankful, man. So that's what I'd leave people with.
Nah, sick, bro. Sick. Guys, make sure you get your copy of How to 10 Million. The link is going to be in the description below, as well as Will's socials and every other link Will's going to make me put in the description, websites, all that sort of stuff. What was it? Build, grow,
exit.
Build, grow, exit. That's going to be in the description as well. Everything's going to be there. Will, I want to thank you very much for your time. And I'm hoping we can do one more in the future as well. You know, because I'm definitely going to get you to help me with what I'm going to do and all that sort of stuff. So maybe we can do a podcast in the future where it's not just me interviewing you, but us having a discussion of how you've made me 10 mil. You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
I think that's a powerful statement right there.
Let's make it
We're
happen.
going to make 10 mil this year, mate. Wicked, Will. I appreciate that.
Thanks so much for having me,
Wicked.
dude. You're awesome.